All right, hey everyone, we're going to finish our 1.2 notes. So this is the second part to your notes with some more practice. Now, first, or the last vocab from 1.2 is Pythagorean theorem, and it says in a right triangle, the sum of the squares of the shorter legs, which are the sides that form the right angle, is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. So when you think of this, your leg A here, you're going to take that side and square it, and you're going to add it to the B, and you're going to square it. And when you do A squared plus B squared, that is going to equal the hypotenuse, which is the longest length, squared. So A squared plus B squared is Pythagorean theorem. Please remember the two legs form the right angle, and the hypotenuse is opposite the right angle, and it's also the longest side. So make sure you get that copied down. All right, now we're going to practice some problems. I'm going to do some, you're going to complete the rest, or I'll get you started and you're going to finish the rest. So let's go ahead with this first one. For each problem, label the figure, write an equation, and solve for x. So if C is the midpoint of AB, so you need to know midpoint, AC is 2x plus 1, and CB is 3x minus 4. Find x. So let's go ahead, let's label. So C is the midpoint. So if C is the midpoint, that means it's in the middle. Oops. And AC, so AC would be here, is 2x plus 1. So that is this line segment right here. And CB, so if this is C, B has to be over here, is 3x minus 4. And that is this line segment right here. We're going to find x. So midpoint means that they are going to be equal to each other because these should be congruent. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this part and you're going to equal it to this part. Because midpoint is in the middle of the line segment. All right, so then you're just going to move your variables to one side, move your numbers to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 2x over here. That cancels. You got 1 equals x minus 4. Add 4 over here. And then go ahead, or you can combine all those and do the same steps. Either way works. And then you're going to get x equals 5. So in this case, x equals 5, and that is your answer. So you can keep it that way, or you can keep it here. All right, now you're going to try this problem. Make sure you label and solve for x. All right, for this problem, it says if measure of angle 1, so angle 1 is this guy right here, is 4x minus 3, and the measure of angle 2, which is this guy right here, is x plus 8. Find x and the measure of angle 2. So what we need to do is, what's an important piece of information here is that this forms a right angle. So if you notice, that's saying it's a right angle. If it's a right angle, the total is 90 degrees. So you're going to take the first angle, 4x, and you're going to add it to the second angle, and then you're going to equal it to 90. So you're going to, so this is the one angle, this is the second angle, combine like terms. And then subtract your 5. 5x equals 85. Divide both sides by 5. And you're going to get x equals 17. Now, that's the first part. X is 17. The second part is to find the measure of angle 2. So you have to take x and you have to substitute it in here. So you're going to go 17 plus 8 equals the measure of angle 2, and then you'll get that is 25. So when you see the measure of angle, remember you got to substitute it back in, so 25 degrees. All right, you're going to try this problem. Here's your hint. This says that it is complementary. So remember, complementary is 90 degrees. So that's your hint. So go ahead, try this problem. And then on this page, it's the same process, but here, instead of complementary, your process says that it is supplementary. And supplementary are when two angles equal 180 degrees. So you're going to add this guy, and remember it's 180 degrees. So that's your hint. Go ahead, finish it. And then here, we're going to do this example. And it says if BX bisects angle ABC, the measure of ABX equals X, and the measure of XBC equals 3X plus 10, find X. That's a lot, but just make sure you label your angles. And if the important term here is that it bisects. So if it bisects, that means it's cutting the angle evenly, so both angles should be equal to each other. So it divides evenly. All right, so this guy should be the same as this guy. All right, so all we got to do is equal them. So ABX is X, and XBC is this. And since they're congruent, you're going to go ahead and you're going to equal them to each other. All right? So subtract 3x, divide both sides by -2. And it's okay to have a negative number because it's the value of x, so that makes sense. And that's all it's asking for is x. All right? This one is vertical angles. So for vertical, let's see if I can spell. They are congruent, they're equal to each other. So what you're going to do is this guy is equal to that guy because they're vertical. So I'll start it, you finish it. All right. And then here, point S is between points D and T, so you need to make sure you draw a straight line to show the points. Make this a little thicker. Okay. And this part has, S is between the two, so S, and it's between, so this would be D, and this would be T. And now it doesn't necessarily say they're equal, so we can't assume they're equal. So you have to go through, you have to label your points or label your parts of the segment. So DT is the whole thing, and this whole thing is 60. DS, which is this part right here, is 2x minus 8. And then this part, I'll do green, ST is, I'll do that there, 3x minus 12. So now we need both of these to add together to equal 60. So you're going to go ahead and set up your equation. Plus 3x minus 12, and it needs to equal 60. So solve for x, and then that's what you need to do. So make sure you finish these. And then here, you cannot assume it divides, it's a bisector because it does not say that, but we do know that A, and I'll use my highlighter here, ADC, the whole angle is this. So we know this should equal 5x minus 20. And then now let's go through, and it says ADB, which is this guy, is x minus 4. And then BDC, which is this guy, is x plus 5. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to rate everything out. So purple, x minus 4, and we said plus x plus 5. And we said that's going to equal, and I'll just use green for that, 5x minus 20. All right, go ahead, solve that, and if you did this correctly, you should get 7 for x. And then last but not least, find the length of the missing side using Pythagorean theorem. So remember, a squared plus b squared, they form the right angle, and then c squared is the hypotenuse, which is opposite the right angle. All right, so here we're looking for this guy, and then it doesn't matter necessarily which one's a, which one's b, but they definitely need to be the legs of your right triangle. So we're going to go through, and we're going to go a squared plus b squared equals c squared to find the missing, and that would be so a squared, oops, that's a plus sign, and then remember you're going to subtract 81, that cancels, and remember to get a by itself you have to take the square root of both sides, so a is going to be 12. All right, and you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to finish this guy. All right, so remember, take all the vocab we did from the first part of 1.2 and make sure you understand what the terms mean, and then you're applying them here. So finish any of the other problems that I did not complete, and then you're good once you get to this part. All right, and that's how you do angles and segments.